We like to think of the universe as this beautiful, wondrous place, and it is, but it's also home to some places that are straight out of a nightmare. So today, we're going to take a little tour of the Cosmic Zoo and visit some of the most extreme, bizarre, and just downright disturbing planets we've ever found. Okay, let's just jump right in. I want you to picture this. You look up at the sky, the sun sets, but then another one rises right after it. And then a third one follows that. You might never see true darkness again. Every time you walked outside, you'd have three shadows stretching out behind you. Well, that was the reality proposed for a planet called HD 188753 AB, a gas giant in a triple star system. But here's where it gets really weird. See, it was discovered back in 2005, but then in 2007, another team of astronomers looked for it, and they found absolutely nothing. It's a planet that might not even exist. Kind of the perfect ghost story to kick off our tour, right? And that brings us to our first real exhibit on this cosmic tour. Worlds that orbit stars so violent and so strange, they make our own friendly sun look like a tame little campfire. So first, we gotta get our heads around what a pulsar is. It's not really a star in the way we think of one. It's more like a star's ghost. It's the super dense, super hot corpse left over after a giant star dies in a supernova. And this thing is spinning insanely fast. So, what kind of world does that create? Well, you're not exactly basking in warm, gentle sunlight. No, you're trapped in a cosmic rave with beams of high-energy radiation blasting over you hundreds of times, every single second. Which brings us to the absolute horror show of the planet's orbiting pulsar PSRB 1257 plus 12. I mean, just get this. The star itself is officially named Lich, after an undead sorcerer, and its planets, they're named after other undead monsters. It's actually fitting, because they are constantly bathed in sterilizing, deadly radiation. These are true zombie worlds, formed from the dusty remains of other dead planets. They were literally born from death, and they exist in a place where life as we know it could never, ever begin. Okay, let's move on. From impossible suns, our journey now takes us to planets where the weather isn't just bad, it's completely beyond all comprehension. Everybody, meet HD 80606b, also known as the Whiplash Planet. Its orbit isn't a nice, gentle circle. It's a terrifying, stretched-out slingshot. For about 100 days, it just drifts out in the freezing cold darkness. Then, over just 20 hours, it dives headfirst toward its star. It gets flash-fried as its temperature spikes by over 1,000 degrees in only 6 hours. This kicks off massive shockwave storms, with winds screaming at 11,000 miles per hour, right before it gets flung back out into the void. But hey, if you think that's fast, the winds on a planet called WASP 127b are just on another level. Its jet stream has been clocked at a mind-shattering 20,500 miles per hour. That is the fastest wind ever recorded on any planet. We're talking fast enough to circle our entire Earth in just over an hour. Unbelievable. All right, so we've seen impossible stars and completely insane weather. Now, we enter the part of the zoo for the truly weird, the planets that seem to just break the laws of physics and perception itself. Just let that phrase sink in for a minute. Hot, burning ice. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right? It's a complete paradox. It's something that just cannot possibly exist. And yet, the universe found a way. See, on a planet Gliese 436b, the gravity is so unbelievably intense that it literally crushes water molecules together into a solid, even while the planet is burning at over 800 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's not even all. This world also orbits its star sideways, going over the top and bottom poles. And it's being blasted so hard that it's bleeding a tail of hydrogen gas 8 million miles long, so it looks like a giant, terrifying comet. We think of things like fresh asphalt or a lump of coal as being black, right? Well, they're practically mirrors compared to TRES-2b. This gas giant absorbs more than 99% of the light that hits it. It is, by far, the darkest planet ever found. It's so hot, it doesn't even reflect light. Instead, it gives off its own faint, menacing red glow, like a giant hot ember just floating in space. And then you've got WASP 17b, a planet that just seems to collect weird records. It was the first planet we ever found that orbits its star backwards, against the direction the star is spinning. It's also one of the biggest planets ever discovered, twice as wide as Jupiter, but it only has half the mass. That makes it so incredibly puffy that if you could find a bathtub big enough, it would actually float.
And to top it all off, we now know its clouds are made of tiny, sparkling quartz crystals.
For our final section, we've got two incredible tales for you. One of impossible survival, and another of a disappearance so mysterious it actually forced us to rewrite the definition of what a planet can be. So meet KOI 55, this tiny little world. It used to be a gas giant, a lot like Jupiter. But then its star got old, swelled up into a red giant, and swallowed it whole. It plunged deep inside the star's fiery atmosphere. But here's the crazy part. Instead of being vaporized, it came out the other side. All of its gas was boiled away, leaving behind just a burnt, rocky core that, even millions of years later, is still sizzling at 12,000 degrees Fahrenheit. A true survivor. Surviving getting eaten by a star is one thing. But what about a planet that we saw, that we photographed, that we named, and then that we watched as it just vanished? This is the bizarre story of Fomalhaut b. Its discovery in 2008 was a huge deal. It was one of the very first exoplanets ever seen directly in a photo. But as scientists kept watching it, it started acting weird. It wasn't glowing with heat the way it should have been, and its orbit seemed to be drifting way off course. And then, by 2014, it was just gone. The answer to the mystery is somehow even stranger than a disappearing planet. The truth is, we were wrong about it from the very beginning. Fomalhaut b was an illusion. You see, what the Hubble telescope actually took a picture of wasn't a solid planet at all. It was the massive expanding cloud of dust and debris from a very recent collision between two giant asteroids. We basically witnessed the immediate aftermath of a cosmic car crash and mistook the shrapnel for a world. And as all that dust spread out and thinned, our planet just faded away. And really, that's the ultimate takeaway from our whole tour, isn't it? The universe isn't just stranger than we imagine. It's stranger than we can imagine. These worlds, they challenge our definitions. They push the boundaries of what we thought was possible. And it leaves you wondering, if a planet can be a ghost, a zombie, or even just an illusion, what other impossible worlds are still out there, just waiting for us in the dark?